I'm sure you're very lovely, and I see the way you're touching.
Ezra, great talking to you, man. It's been a while. Look, I got to ask you, how have things been going with your career since when we talked about you being on the launch? And you did a fantastic job, by the way. How's the career been?
Thank you, Rudy. It's been great. Honestly, it's funny. Despite coming in the runner-up position for my episode, it still lends a lot of credence to my name just being on a nationally televised show. So I've then garnered a little bit of interest from some people down in Los Angeles, and I went down there for a writing trip and did a bit of work, and I'm just working on putting out more music now and playing shows.
You know what? I ran into your dad actually a couple of weeks ago. I was out for breakfast, and he was in the same place. And I told him straight out, I had no clue, man, you had that kind of a voice. Blew me away. And he was just like, yeah, well, none of us really knew. Man, did you even know you had that kind of voice?
I really didn't. My whole philosophy around music growing up, I knew I wanted to be a musician, but I was only a piano player, and I sort of never wanted to sing so I could distance myself a little bit from what my parents did. But after my knee injury when I was 18, I got into singing as a substitute for piano when I couldn't really sit down at the piano and play properly, and it just kind of went from there. But I had no idea I had any kind of special instrument that anyone would want to listen to, but apparently I do.
Well, look, let's reintroduce you to the world. Let's talk about your family, because you come from some roots, man. Your parents, they're icons in this music business.
Yeah, it's funny to me to see as I'm going into the music industry now, I'm sort of appreciating more what my parents have actually accomplished. They're both amazing singer-songwriters in their own right, and they're even working on a musical now. That's going to be amazing if it comes to full fruition. But yeah, I sort of walk into their office in the house, and I take a closer look at the gold records and the things they have there. It's like I didn't even really appreciate when I was a kid that my dad had cuts with like Cher and Rod Stewart and Amanda Marshall. It's a big deal, but because some of the music was before my time, I never really knew it until I grew up.
And of course, your parents are, their names, please?
Amy Skye and Mark Jordan.
And that's what I mean when I say royalty in this country. Amazing singers, amazing songwriters. But when did you actually get that itch yourself when you kind of felt like, hey, I want to be part of that legacy?
I always saw myself as growing up to be a producer when I showed interest in music as a kid. I didn't think the spotlight was for me, but I think secretly deep down I always knew I wanted to write songs, but I wouldn't even admit it to myself until I had this sort of life-changing knee injury where I was laid up in bed for about a year and a half, and out of that it really altered my personality and my perspective and my priorities, and then just I realized what was important, and being afraid of the things that weren't important. I was kind of a shy kid and a self-conscious. I just pushed that away because obviously I came to terms with a bit of a life-changing situation like that, and out of that came my itch to songwrite, and I'm so glad it happened, honestly. I wouldn't trade it for anything because I'm happier now than I was then, now that I can write songs and do what I love.
Man, you know what? We are thrilled, too, because I'll keep going back to, man, that voice, amazing.
Thanks.
The kind of songs, what kind of songs do you like to write? And when we were talking, too, you were just releasing some music, too.
Yes, I have my 3 singles are out right now, and I'm just working on my a single to come out at the beginning of the summer. I've sort of been, I like to triangulate my style sort of somewhere between the Coldplay, John Mayer, D'Angelo, Charlie Puth kind of vibe. It's got an R&B, pop, soul kind of thing, but I've actually just bought a bass, and I've been learning bass a little bit, and just out of that, I've really been working with a lot of like more upbeat, funky bass lines because I can play them on a real bass now instead of trying to program them with a keyboard. So I think that's probably the style I'm leaning towards right now.
Wow. Okay, now remember the single. I think it was Only Got Eyes for Her. What was that about?
That came about actually the situation that I found myself in when I went down to Los Angeles. I went to school in LA at the Musicians Institute, and I came home after I graduated and then went back with the intention to move there. And when I went back that second time, I'd just broken up with my girlfriend for a couple of years, and there was a girl there who really was into me, but I did literally just broken up with my girlfriend, so I was kind of not ready to be getting involved with someone else, and I felt so bad because it wasn't about the girl in Los Angeles. I myself wasn't over my old girlfriend, so I only had eyes for her, meaning my ex-girlfriend, and it kind of just popped. I wrote the song about trying to let someone down easy, kind of, because there's someone else you have your mind on.
What's the latest single?
The latest single is called Lonely Now, and that was actually a song I wrote a couple years back, and I always thought it had a great hook in the chorus, but some of the lyrics weren't right, and eventually it was my manager, actually, I was just playing in my old music and said, hey, that's really good. So I just changed the lyrics, updated them a little bit, and I think the whole song, after I rewrote those lyrics, took like 3 days in the studio, just like a few hours here and there, and just flowed right out.
Whoa, 'cause I'm going out my mind, thinking about the one I should have never left behind. Oh, and hey, there's nothing you can say that can make me feel a different way, 'cause I only got eyes for her.
What's going on with EP and album?
I'm been struggling back and forth to think whether I should release an EP or keep going with singles. I think right now I'm just going to keep putting out as much music as I can, and I'm working on a couple new things with my wonderful producer Sam Willows, and I'm trying to get an upbeat single to come out in for the beginning of the summer.
In the meantime, though, as we speak, you got a show coming up this week.
I have several, actually. This month I've got 4 shows that I'm playing. The first of which is on the 14th at the Supermarket, but I'll also be playing at SoCan, at the Soho House, and for a wonderful benefit show put on by Murray McLaughlin at the Glen Gould.
Oh my goodness, that's gonna be amazing, man. Look, any chance? One of the great things that happened over the holidays, your whole family got a chance to perform together, and I do believe that was the first time on stage for everybody. Is there ever a chance that's going to happen, or is there a chance that maybe you and your sister can do a duet because she is equally as talented?
It's funny. You're right. We had never played all together as a group. I mean, little bits and pieces here, but the 4 of us had never been on stage together. And I was a little bit hesitant when going into it, but it turned out really great. And I think because we're all of the same blood, our voices kind of blend together really nicely when we sing harmonies and stuff. So I know for a fact that I'll be back on the stage with both of my parents in June for a charity benefit. But my sister, it's funny, actually, she's actually working on a cover of one of my dad's songs. She's working on her own version of Marina Del Rey. So I might end up singing backgrounds on that sometime in the next couple months as well.
That is cool. But in the meantime, though, we can't see you live. Look, there's so many things that's going on with you this year, 2018. It's going to be hard to keep up. I think the best way to keep up is your website, social media. Where do we go to follow all this fun stuff?
Absolutely. Social media is the place. I mean, my website, EzraJordan.com, has links to everything, but you can follow me just on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. Just Ezra Jordan is my name, and that's where you can keep up to date.
Fantastic. Look, my friend, congratulations with the success. Let's keep talking in the next couple of months, especially when the new single comes out in the summertime. Like I said, man, you're an amazing artist, and you are really going to take this to the next level, man. Congrats on everything.
Thank you, Rudy.